In our news bulletin for this evening, the Disaster Council continues to plead to the public to stop burning unnecessary fires that put people's well-being and property at risk. Unexpected power outage last night left the southern side of the island in the dark for a few hours, but it was a bit longer for Hakupu and Vaea. Niwango and Penina Health Trust take the lead with mental health awareness this week. Niue's rugby league team in Australia continue their winning streak in a game against Cook Islands over the weekend. An out-of-control bushfire in between Hakupu and Vaea has prompted the Niue Disaster Council to make another appeal to people to refrain from burning fires, especially with the current dry and windy conditions. Early predictions at the beginning of this year stated that we were to experience our Nino weather situations that would mean low rainfall. Over the past few weeks, we have also seen some fires out of control. That is a concern not only for the well-being of people, but property as well. Nearby residents of Vaea and witnesses say that the fire had been burning throughout the day, but appeared to be getting bigger by yesterday evening. According to the Vaea Nonu Farm, the ashes from the fire is damaging Niue's main export product, and that is not good. We spoke to the Niue Disaster Council chairperson and the Secretary of Government, Richard Hepa, today about the situation.
Some fires, we believe, started with a control sort of burning, but it got out of control. With the wind blowing at the moment as it is, the opportunity for the fire to spread is very, very quick. So our plea to the people now, together with the messages out from the Niue Met Services, we will continue to have this weather pattern. El Nino, it's going to be dry. This is going into next year. So the only plea we have to the people to please be careful, or better, do not burn fires at the moment. There have been some fires from the bush. People tried to clear areas, burning trees, etc., but they got out of hand. Some believe that they have put the fire out of burning, but the fire restarted again when they are not there. So this is a very, very difficult situation we have. The one we have here at Vaea, this is getting close to the village. Last night the fire brigade came up. And this is another risk that we do not wish to happen to our fire engines. In order to service the Air New Zealand flight to Niue, it is critical that we have 2 working fire engines. So the message we need to get to our people is, 1, please do not light fires at this point in time. Stop lighting fires. Although you may believe that you can control the fire, it is very difficult with this windy situation.
It seems that the message is not getting through to some individuals, so the Niue Meteorological Service, the Water Division, Crown Law and the Niue Disaster Council are looking at legislation to draft a drought policy.
It will include signages or information for people to not to light fires. Following that, if people do light fires, there will be conditions for people to be accountable for, because I think education is the important thing for people not to light fires right now. And secondly, also as part of the development of the Niue Disaster Council, is that we will be having another fire engine. And this is to respond to fires like domestic situations that will prevent using the 2 fire engines at the airport. This will require training of voluntary people, firemen, to help with their service. The idea is the voluntary service should be able to respond as quickly as possible. And we're also planning to build a building where it's going to house the National Disaster Management Office together with all the services. But until those things come to completion, the plea at the moment is to please stop lighting fires.
The hope is that people will take heed and not continue such risky behavior, putting other people's lives and property at risk. An unplanned power blackout last night left the southern side of the island in the dark for a few hours. Niue Power Corporation staff worked throughout the night to identify the fault and managed to gradually restore power to Awasele. Based on accounts of some residents from the villages of Vaya and Hakupu, theirs was not restored last night. In addition, there was a planned power outage for the northern side today, where Niue Power staff were tied up working to connect new cables to the water pump in Tuapa. Several attempts to get more details about the fault that caused the unplanned power cut and additional information from the Division of Utilities in Niue Power, we were not able to get an official statement before this news bulletin went to air. Mental health was at the forefront of an activity organized on Wednesday by the Niue Island United Association of Non-Government Organizations and the Penina Health Trust for Mental Health Awareness Week. Mental health issues are not openly discussed in Niue at most times, and the Awareness Week is to make people aware that there are services available and that it is okay to seek help.
The community has responded very well. We've started today with the schools. The theme for this week's work is to give. And Penina Health Trust, we would like to thank them for bringing in some gifts for the schools through the government, of course. And we wish to thank them very much for all the gifts because of the theme give. And they were able to bring us some gifts for this year.
Penina Health Trust is the only Pacific-led primary health organization in New Zealand that has extensive experience in providing accessible, culturally responsive and quality health and social care. Its presence in Niue is to collaborate with the local authorities about addressing mental health issues. It is a move in the right direction for those providing the services to those who are suffering from it. We spoke to the Chief Executive of the Penina Health Trust from Auckland, who emphasized about the importance of having support systems in place to assist with the rehabilitation and the reintegration of those affected with mental health issues to the community.
Today is about raising awareness around mental health, and the theme for Mental Health Awareness Week this year is about giving. Many people who experience mental health just need a friend. They need someone to talk to and feel that they are supported. And so part of what we can do is we can give our time, we can give ourselves, and sometimes it's not about having all the answers. It's just about having time to sit and talk to somebody who might be experiencing a few challenges in their mental health. 1 in every 5 people experience mental illness throughout their lives, and even though we might not have a mental illness, somebody in our family is bound to have one. And so mental illness becomes an issue for the whole family. So what we're wanting to do is to work to raise that awareness, but also what Nuango and Penina and other groups, we also met with the Minister this morning, was to look at having a special place, maybe a drop-in centre or somewhere where people can just go in and have somebody to talk to when maybe they're not feeling well, or not feeling that they can cope with things, or just want somebody to talk to about some of the issues that they might be going through. So that's one of the things that we're working with government to see whether we can support a place like that for people who experience mental illness, and also for people who just want to talk about mental health. Or mental health is a whole different things. It also can include alcohol and drug addictions. It can include feeling suicidal. It can just include feeling depressed. So that's all part of our mental wellness.
Mr. Leolahi also said the event is held in public so people can be aware of the issues relating to mental health and how it can be avoided or addressed. It is not a personal issue anymore, and people should not feel stigmatized, ashamed, or feel neglected by the disorder of the mind. It is also decided that religious organizations should be involved so to provide a holistic approach to addressing and rehabilitating people with mental health issues. Niue's very own rugby league team in Australia have come away with another convincing win, this time against the Cook Islands on the 3rd of October with a final score of 44-22 to Niue. Over 20 mixed Niuean players living all over Australia came together last year to form a Niue rugby league team, coached by Brendan Perinara and Pat Weisner. Since last year, they have come out victorious in the games against the Philippines and South Africa. The captain of the Niue Rugby League team, Michael Filimona, says that it was a very physical and hard game, especially considering that they only had 2 training sessions before the game with the Cook Islands. The heat did not help, but they managed to come away with a win as they tried to raise their position in the rankings for a chance to represent Niue in the Pacific Nations game in May of next year in the NRL International Round. They also have hopes to qualify for the World Cup. The team are also planning a trip to Niue, but that is all dependent on sponsorship and funds. And those are our news stories for this evening. We do hope that you have an enjoyable weekend ahead. Don't forget to check out the Alasele Show Day on Saturday.